I asked Shiraz a little bit about himself, and he told me he's married. He has a 5-year-old daughter who he's looking forward to getting home to. I asked him what his favorite sport was, and I was surprised to find out he's also a fan of ice hockey. But his favorite team is the Toronto Maple Leafs. And anybody who knows the Toronto Maple Leafs will know that they haven't won a championship for 45 years. So I'm glad that he's for the underdog, as are most social marketers, I suspect. So give it up for Shiraz Latiff.
Thanks, Neil. What an entry you gave me. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Or could I say Ayubowan from a country called Sri Lanka. The pearl of Asia, we call it. And we have sunshine all 365 days. But, however, don't be surprised. I come here for expecting sub-zero temperatures, but I'm appalled and surprised pleasantly to see the warmth extended by all of you in Canada, from the immigration to the hotel and to here. So I feel the warmth from you so that I don't regret the warm condition at home. And thank you, Canada, for giving me that surprise welcome. So this is a country we have to set the context, 21 million people. Colombo is the commercial capital, and Jayawardenepura, difficult to pronounce, is the capital. And we have plenty of places. If you ever happen to come to Sri Lanka, we always welcome you to come to see, experience the culture, the people, friendly smiles, and we will always have a time to sit and discuss and chat about the weather, which is always sunshine. So today I'm trying to share with you 3 programs that we have seen for the last 1.5 years in Sri Lanka, which I think will give the flavor of how it is in our part of the world and how organizations come together to push through the social marketing cause. The 3 in detail, just to give you a snapshot, one is called the Seeni Meani. Seeni is sugar in Sinhala. Meani is all that English word, the mean, being mean, bad, the baddie. And then another one called Happy Life. And the third one is called Thalassemia Free Sri Lanka. Seeni Meani is basically how do you avoid sugar. I'll go into detail, the change, again the word, change the behavior towards using sugar. And Happy Life, change the behavior towards sexual and reproductive health education in Sri Lanka amongst youth. That's what is being addressed by Happy Life. And thalassemia, which is a preventable disease, by convincing people to change their behavior and attitude towards choosing their partners and determining whether they are thalassemic or healthy careers. That is what we are trying to do from that program. So the change intake of sugar, certainly we have two programs on that I'm going to share with you, which is supported by the Sri Lanka Diabetes Association and the Rotary International. Is it a problem in Sri Lanka? Yes, it is. If you really see, most of you will know global footprint. Diabetes is a problem even in the countries like Asia. In Sri Lanka, 100 people die every day of diabetes. That's about 1/3 of the people who die. So bad the situation in Sri Lanka. Over under 20, even under 20, it's not better either. So that means the situation is that we need to get them to reduce the intake of sugar. Why is it a problem? Before I go into that, I'll tell you. The culture in Sri Lanka, and also some economic reasons, sugar is taken separately with your tea. And we are a tea drinking country. I'm sure you have heard of this thing called Ceylon tea. That's where we come from. So we drink tea almost every other hour. So more tea means more sugar. And in the early 70s, we had some economic hardship, so which also meant you cannot afford sugar. So if you can't afford sugar, you have the sugar in your other hand, and you have your tea, and you sip your tea with the sugar. That means you take more sugar than your tea. So that makes you become more prone to become diabetic. So this is why we wanted the program leaders wanted to reduce the amount of sugar intake. That would be the key to reduce the prevalence of diabetes. So I'll show you one program which might not be out of the world. The problem with invention is people who innovation is that innovate, you think that you are the first one to do, but sometimes somebody else would have done it already. But if some of you have seen this, please feel free to share this with me. But this is one thing called the spoon program. You might wonder what it is. Here we are.
Diabetes is a state of increased blood sugar levels due to impaired insulin action. Diabetes is a silent killer affecting nearly every organ in the body with minimal symptoms that lead to life-threatening consequences. Diabetes is a global concern. Today, 2 million Sri Lankans suffer from diabetes. Another 2 million are at risk. Prevention is the only solution. Our challenge? To reduce people's intake of sugar. The execution. We cut slits in a regular teaspoon to resemble a fork. As a result, it carries less sugar. The result? On World Diabetes Day, the spoon replaced regular teaspoons in sugar bowls across the popular Sensal group of restaurants in order to convey our message to a larger number of consumers. Here's what they had to say.
Yes, this is good work, and so I appreciate about this.
Within 6 hours, over 1,500 people used the spoon. Every one of them interacted with the Diabetes Association. Approximately 65% less sugar was served from Sensal sugar bowls. In fact, they filled the sugar bowls only once that entire day. The activation was strengthened by a multilingual PR campaign and was also picked up by national media. It received accolades in several international forums. Plans to commercially produce the spoon are also underway. So remember, the next time you want something sweet, be careful with the sugar.
Thank you. So if you need, you just give the spoon, not the spoon. So that's for the adults. And then the current status is all major restaurants have, almost everybody has adopted this at their own cost, because obviously it's a change for the benefit of themselves where they save more money. And also discussions are underway to, with the Sri Lanka Diabetic Association to replace this same spoon with the tea kiosks and boutiques that are island-wide. So target is by 2015 at least to cover the 22 districts in the country, at least the major city areas. So that's on the adults area. Then we have what is called the Seeni Meani for the children. So if the adults are being looked at like that, what can we do with the children and students? With the Rotary Club, Rotary International, and also the Sri Lanka Diabetic Association, the Seeni Meani campaign was created to get the students participate in the program, to educate and create awareness amongst themselves. So the target is all the student population as the direct audience, and their families and communities as the indirect target of the indirect audience. So the intention was to at least get at 1 million students aged 15 to 20 years, parents, teachers, etc., over the period of this program. This was started about 9 months ago, and it's targeted towards 129 schools, and island-wide. Each Rotary Club is to adopt 2 schools as mentors so that they guide them as how it is done. And each school is given a kit as to what they do, what are the how are they to do a program, and what it is, what are the things that they need, etc. And also a small budget is given through the funding agencies which has been saved. So they are not just let in the lurch, but they get an action kit. So they know exactly what to do, what are the templates to use, and what are the formats to use, what are the programs, how do they do a program plan, etc., and put the activities in place, and also give a progress report every 6 months, so that the sponsoring club can do a review end of the year to see if the program was a success in creating awareness and any other benefits that they can derive out of this project. So some of the things that the students have been doing: street promotions, art exhibitions within themselves in their schools to promote change in behavior of sugar intake, and intra-school drama competitions, and awareness and education seminars, which they have been doing within themselves. So these are some of the activities students have been doing throughout. So the progress, this was launched last year, and schools island-wide with their mentoring Rotary clubs submitted their first project report, progress report. Minimum direct audience has been at least 100,000 with the first phase where we did with 30 schools. And awareness levels are expected to be measured towards the end of the year. So the next one I will quickly run is on the sexual reproductive health. We come from an Asian background which has a lot of superstition, age-old traditions, and beliefs. Whether we like it or not, that drives a lot in our behaviors. So this program called Happy Life with the Sri Lanka Family Planning Association, with the Sri Lanka Information and Communication Technology Association, which has been promoted, looks at why happy life. Sociocultural norms consider that sex and sexuality is a taboo. And current internet and social media gives a lot of information which might or might not be what they would like to know, or what the fact and factual realities are. So because of this, there was a need to bring in, they can access actual information. So one thing good about most of the Asian countries, because of the mobile penetration, the access to internet and mobile technology is very high. Internet penetration is about 35%, and IT literacy is comparatively very high because everybody has a mobile phone. We have 20 million people in the country. We have 22 million mobile phones. Doesn't mean that those who are not born are still ordering one, but each person has at least two. That's a norm. Why? One official, the office phone, or maybe the other one for the girlfriend and the boyfriend. God only knows. So at least, so that's the kind of penetration it comes to mobile phones. So therefore, there was plenty of opportunities to access the youth to improve their knowledge towards sexual reproductive health, sexual reproductive health. So the problems, social and family issues, due to lack of education, they do not know. You will see some of the alarming information that I will share with you. And for this, what did they do to increase awareness? A four-pronged education system. It has the Happy Life program has an IVR interactive voice recognition, 24 hours accessible, and manned by professional doctors and counselors. And the person can also send an SMS to a predetermined number. You can ask for the concerns, issues that you have, and you get responses on the mobile phone. And also, you have a web portal. You can have chats. You have the social media access points, whichever that you would like to use. So this way, the youth have access to the knowledge that they need. So just a snapshot of the web portal. It has, instead of Angry Birds, they have Angry Girls. If they want to play the game, you can try it out. They do smash the heads of these guys. You can imagine. Instead of the typical Angry Bird game. And then we have plenty of information, and it is trilingual. It couldn't be in Sinhala, English, or Tamil, which are the three languages which are used in Sri Lanka. And it has, the web portal continues with, has videos, any other links, whatever that the person wants to know. The clinics which are closer to their homes, if they want access to the information on a personal basis, or visit them. And the voice chat as well as web chat, and some of the means of accessing the telephone, the SMS. So these are the access points that they have. And the observations, average 100 calls a day, and over 200 SMSs they receive, and over 100 visitors to the website or the web portal, and a team of trained and certified doctors and counselors man on a voluntary as well as paid basis so that they support the whole cause. And some of the observations. Over 50% of the issues are related to sexual problems and family planning. And you wouldn't believe about 22% still use emergency contraceptive pill as a regular contraceptive. Can you imagine that? Why? Because the lack of knowledge. And 50% of unmarried couples were interested in problems related to sex. So these figures show that there is a good progression in terms of getting the information downloaded to them. Over 50% users are from rural youth. Why? Because they do not have the access the people in the metropolis will have. So that is something that has seen for the success of this program. Then I go to the final project or the program on thalassemia. This is also another major problem in the country. Just to give a snapshot what thalassemia is, it's a form of inherited autosomal recessive blood disorder and caused by the weakening and destruction of red blood cells. People with the disease make less hemoglobin and fewer circulating red blood cells than normal, which results in mild or severe anemia. So it's an anemic condition. And it could cause significant complications, including pneumonia and iron overload, bone deformities, and cardiovascular illnesses. And this is preventable, but it is indeed a major cause of death, one of the major causes of death in Sri Lanka. Most common genetic disease in Sri Lanka with early childhood death. And a child with thalassemia born in every 4 days in Sri Lanka. Why? Their parents are not careful in choosing their partners. When you fall in love, you have no choice, but you can still prevent, like in HIV, there are ways of getting yourself cured if you go through the proper curing process. So children with thalassemia are subjected to average 200 hours of needle pain, which is unbearable. 54 pints of blood transfusion per annum, and treatment cost of over 800,000, which is about, say, $7,000, so yes, which is supposed to be borne by the government because the people who are anemic, they are not in a position to pay this kind of price. And in Sri Lanka, we have a free healthcare system, and can be prevented 100% if the proper awareness is there. So what is the global average prevalence? It's about, average age is about 12, so that means it's a teen-age problem. We can see many people with the thalassemic condition. So some of the average stats that have been given on the global conditions, similar to what we have in the country. So high mortality rate of children due to thalassemia. Why? Because wrong blood type partners of silent carrier of marriage, which needs to be changed or prevented. And to educate, the objective of the program was to educate the adolescents on checking their thalassemic status prior to marriage, and awareness of marital partner's thalassemic status, and total elimination of the disease by 2020 by preventive methods. So this is where the Rotary Club partnered with, Rotary International partnered with the Thalassemia Center in Sri Lanka to locally create that awareness and the support system so that people can avoid and prevent their children becoming thalassemic. So program was to educate the effects and prevention, awareness of availability of support, and support system at the marriage point so that people know their partner, whether he or she is a carrier or non-carrier. So teenage screening, thalassemia, so this is done at all the thalassemia centers. And promoting safe marriages is one, like I mentioned, education and awareness through the channels of Registrar of Marriages, which is something unique that we have created there, and also Rotary International and Thalassemic centers. So how does it go when the person is screened? If the person is not thalassemic, he or she is given the green card. A carrier is given a pink card. And if the person is carrying a pink card, the person is supposed to go through what is called the iron treatment, iron therapy for confirmed carriers through thalassemic centers. So that's the best way of preventing their children becoming thalassemic. A counseling and support program through island-wide centers. Why counseling is not there means that because it's a problem not only monetarily but also mentally and psychologically. It affects the person and also the family. And screening points at marriage registrar officers so that that is the point that one of the points where you can prevent the future progression of the disease. So advice on thalassemia, at the point if somebody goes, especially the areas where thalassemia prone, at the point of registering your marriage, there is a questionnaire given by the Registrar of Marriage to check whether the person has what is called a pink card or a green card. And if he or she has a pink card, then the person is referred immediately to the closest thalassemic center to ensure that the person is given the proper treatment, and then they proceed through the marriage. Certainly, the marriage registrar cannot stop the marriage, but at least the proper awareness and the guidance is given because the choice is theirs. So then we have what is called the thalassemic marriage horoscope. Sri Lanka, as I said, is a very superstitious country. We believe in what is called the planetary positions, which determine your partner and your prosperity. So many people, when they get married, they try to match their horoscope, whether the planetary position and the birth time, all that matches with your partner. Something ancient, but still happens in rural areas. So to go in the same line so that people think on the same lines, this thalassemic horoscope has been created to say, if a partner, boy and a girl with the pink and a green slip comes to get married, that person, which grid the person falls in. So red means it's a complete no-no. Both partners have to get counseling and support to eradicate it. And safe marriage plus star means one of the partners is a carrier, but so you have to be careful, and that person has to go through the iron therapy. So like that, just a matching process to keep the awareness amongst the people who come on a daily basis to get themselves registered for the marriage. So education and awareness, it has been done through the support of the Rotary clubs as well as the thalassemia centers. Schools work, also awareness at school level is done, and also at village level. Over 300 villages have been approached. Among about 300 villages, they have had awareness programs to make sure that they understand the gravity of it and the methods that they can use to prevent this, this sickness. And the professional channels used, the Registrar of Marriages, the marriage counseling, screening referral, as well as support referral, and awareness support is given at the point of registering your marriage. And the thalasssemic centers provide free screening and medication as well as support and counseling. And then also, in terms of getting support on the blood transfusion, the Rotary Club also works with the respective schools and other institutions to obtain the required support and that, at that level. So those are some of the channels used. So in summary, what is special or what is unique about this is nothing new but the channels used. Like what the professor mentioned, using students is similar to the parallel stream of using within the social marketing area. The other one, using the technology, availability of technology as a channel to deliver or promote the product and service. And the civil service of the Sri Lankan government has been used, the Registrar of Marriage, to educate the people who are prone for thalassemia. So these are three unique methods of using the ATL and BTL components of marketing to create the social awareness. The programs are still ongoing, and periodic reviews are being done with the respective institutions. And up to date, the progress has been seen, and something that we feel and very positive that will show some results, as it has been for the last couple of years. It has been so. So that's about all I have to share with you from the warm climes of Sri Lanka, and thank you very much for attentively listening